Hello there guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and welcome to another video. I hope you guys are doing well today. Sorry that there's not been any videos this week, the likes of the Chelsea preview and the match reaction to the Salzburg game, and or something like that, is because my birthday was this week, well, 3 days ago, and I just wanted to spend some time with my friends and family as to celebrate my birthday with me. So yeah, no videos this week, but listen, the half term is nearly over since today is Friday and my birthday is over. So I said to myself, this Friday I'll be getting back to doing videos on YouTube. So yeah, I know you guys miss me, and I want to say thank you so much for all the lovely birthday messages I've been receiving from my friends and family. They were nice, they were beautiful, they were absolutely touching. So thank you guys so much for that. And yeah, hopefully next year my birthday will be even more better than this year, as that's my prayer for me and to you guys as well. So yeah, so once again, thank you so much for all the lovely birthday messages I've been getting. Right, enough of me. Let's focus on this week's Premier predictions on game week 14. And I have to tell you, there's a lot of Saturday's games, and there's only two Sundays games. There's a lot of Saturday and a few on Sunday, which is very strange. But we'll get to those predictions in a moment. But before we get started, if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're new. Make sure you smash a like if you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit the bell notification so that you never miss any of our content. And make sure you share this video to everybody so that they can come along and give their predictions for this week's game week 14 in the Premier League. There's some big games to be talked about, and they could be a surprise to all of you when I tell you this. So make sure you stay tuned for this video. So without further ado, here we go. Oh, let me just. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Let me just try this again. Right, much better. All right, so the first game of the weekend, let me just move this out of the way, is Leicester City up against Manchester City. Of course, Leicester City are getting back-to-back wins, they've won against well, I forgot who they beaten. They've won that game, and then they've won against Wolves in the Midlands Derby, or the East Midlands Derby, if you want to say it like that. So Leicester are getting back-to-back wins, and also if you look at the table, which I'm going to be doing right now when I get this phone up, it looks like, if I'm not wrong, Leicester City are out of the relegation zone. So let me just have a look. Um, do, 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 do. Let's have a look. So yeah, looking at the table, Leicester are out of the relegation zone and they're only 2 points ahead of the bottom three. So yeah, they beat Leeds United. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. So Leicester are getting back-to-back wins. So yeah, they're out of the relegation zone for now. But so yeah, Leeds, Wolves, and Nottingham Forest are in the bottom three with the same points. Same points, 9 points each. Very, very interesting. But Leicester are with 11 points. So yeah, but they faced a really tough test. Manchester City, who've only lost one game so far this season, and that is against Liverpool. But they got that win against Brighton, and but interesting enough, Manchester City in the Champions League over the last two games against Copenhagen and Dortmund is stayed 0-0, like a draw. So that's the first time since 2016 that Manchester City have failed to score in the last two games of the Champions League. So very interesting. But for me, Man City, they still have a chance. Can they do it? We have to wait and see. But the Premier League, yes, they will win it. The FA Cup, maybe, yes, if they can avoid big teams the likes of Liverpool, maybe Chelsea and something like that, maybe. But we're gonna have to wait and see. The Carabao Cup, yes, but like I said, if they can avoid the teams like Liverpool and all that stuff, maybe they'll have a chance. So yeah, so Leicester City, I expect this to be a really tough game because the last time they beat Manchester City was 2 years ago when they beat them 5-2 at the Etihad. And I remember that game where Jamie Vardy scored twice. Maddison scored a really great goal in that game. So that's the last time. But ever since then, Man City beat them, So yeah, if Leicester City really want to get out of the relegation zone, they have to not lose. If they draw, it's not that bad. But if they win, that will be excellent for them because that can show them that other teams, so like of Wolves, not to avoid to Leeds, need to win. Make sure that they lose their games so that Leicester City could slowly get back to form. Because and listen, Leicester City need to keep on doing this because if they if they get back to back wins, but then they start to lose Manchester City at the next game, it's back to life and back to reality for them. So if they want to stay in the Premier League, they need to keep this up. They seriously need to keep this up. So yeah, so for this game, I expect this to be terrific going against Leicester City. Erling Haaland scored 2 goals against Brighton, so he's only like 6 away from equaling last season's Golden Boot winners, which is both Mo Salah and Son. So yeah, so Erling Haaland needs to score like a hat trick in the game against Leicester City, and also the hat trick in the next game in the Premier League in order to equal that record. So I don't think it will happen, but we have to wait and see. So for this game on Saturday lunchtime, I'm gonna go for a 3-0 Man City win. Of course, Man City's defense haven't been that great, especially the game against Brighton. But I know that Leicester City do score goals, but I just don't think they'll score against Manchester City. I really don't. So my first thought is that I feel like this could be 3-1 Man City, but then I thought, now you know what? It's going to be 3-0. If Man City does allow Leicester City to score, then there going to be some questions on the defense and maybe the goalkeeper too. But for me, I think they'll keep a clean sheet. So 3-0 to Manchester City is going to be my first prediction on game week number 14. Excuse me. Right, the next game is going to be interesting. AFC Bournemouth up against Tottenham Hotspur. Now, of course, Tottenham don't really have a great work against Bournemouth, especially away from home, because the last time these two faced each other during the coronavirus in July, it was a nil-nil draw, and then in fact, it was both draws. So yeah, Bournemouth have a really good record against Tottenham in the last 3 games, but overall, Tottenham always, Tottenham have won 7 times against Bournemouth. So yeah, this game is going to be very interesting. Of course, I've saw the highlights of the Tottenham versus Sporting Lisbon game, and yeah, Harry Kane thought he had won it at the end, but VAR disallowed it. Now, if you're a Spurs fan, I know you don't want to talk about this, but I'm going to say this just for the sake of this game. Do you think that VAR got that decision right? Do you think that that goal should have stood or not? Let me know. From my perspective, Romero was onside where he got the ball, but I think the reason why it was offside is because if you look at that angle from that straight, his left leg was in front, um, in front of that Lisbon player. So that's why I get why VAR had to disallow it. But like I said, I'm not a Spurs fan, so if you're a Spurs fan, let me know in the comments down below if you think that goal should have stood or not. So let me know. But it means that it means that Tottenham simply have to get a point in order for them to qualify for the next round. Because imagine, yeah, if Marseille beat Tottenham and maybe the likes of either Frankfurt or Sporting Lisbon win their game, Tottenham will be in the Europa League. So Tottenham really have to make sure that they not lose against Marseille away from home in France. They really need to make sure. They need to make sure. So yeah, that draw, um they're top of the group, but they have to make sure they at least get a point in order for them to qualify. Because if they don't, they are going to be in the Europa League, and fans will be very, very frustrated. The likes of Chelsea fans, Arsenal fans, their rivals will be laughing, and I'll definitely enjoy that one. So yeah, so Tottenham, You have to win that game in order for you guys to qualify for the next round. It's simple as that. But going into this game, AFC Bournemouth so far have lost two games, one against Southampton and the other one against West Ham, and they haven't scored in both them games. The likes of West Ham, yeah, maybe you could say they've been robbed twice for the VAR, for the handball. So especially for the West Ham's first goal, so you could say they're being robbed, and I think they gave a penalty, yeah. So you could say they've been robbed twice. So that's basically it. But West Ham were the better side, and they deserve to win that game. So you just cannot say really that much. For this game, um, of course, Gary O'Neill was unbeaten until Southampton beat them last weekend. So yeah, this one is going to be very interesting. Of course, I hope as a Chelsea fan that Bournemouth can do Chelsea a favour and beat Tottenham, because if we beat Brighton, which I'll be talking about in a couple of minutes, if we beat Brighton and Tottenham, excuse me, lose against Bournemouth, we'll be above them because we'll be on 24 points and they'll be on 23. So I really hope and pray to God that Bournemouth can do Chelsea a favour and maybe the other teams like Newcastle and Man United a favour and beat Tottenham. I would love that to happen. But for me, the last two games, Bournemouth haven't been really looking that great. So, but like I said, Tottenham don't have a really good record against Bournemouth over the last three games. So for this game tomorrow at 3 o'clock, I'm going to go for a 2-0 Tottenham win. I think they'll bounce back from that loss against Newcastle. I think they'll bounce back. But I could tell you, if Bournemouth win their game against Tottenham, they're in 40th place right now. But if they beat Tottenham, they will be above. I think they won't be above Liverpool, but they'll be the exact same points as Liverpool if they beat Tottenham, and they'll be above Brighton, of course, if they lose their game. So it's going to be very interesting. And if people. And nobody would have thought that Bournemouth would be above the mid-table. Nobody, including me. So, if that actually happened, then maybe sacking Scott Parker and bringing in Gary O'Neill was the right decision for them. So, yeah, very, very interesting. So, for this game on Saturday at 3 p.m., I'm going to go for a Tottenham win of 2-0. I think this would be another loss for um, for Bournemouth, unfortunately, under Gary O'Neill. So 2-0 to them. Right, the next game, Brentford against Wolves. Of course, both of them lost 4-0. Brentford lost 4-0 against Aston Villa away from home, and Wolves was 4-0 against Leicester City against at Molineux. So here, both teams lost 4-0 against their opposition. So yeah, um, so yeah, both of them were absolutely poor in that game, absolutely poor. So these two will face each other. Now Wolves are in serious, serious trouble because they need to win this game in order for them to be um out of the relegation zone. And since they got their new caretaker manager, so they need to win this game. But can I see that happening? No. You know why? It's because Brentford play really well and have a good record at Community Stadium. Well, Arsenal are the only team that beat them, but the likes of United, Chelsea, Brighton, and all that stuff, they never beat them. So yeah, so listen, even though Brentford lost the game against Aston Villa, and I didn't think that Aston Villa will put four past them, I think they'll bounce back. Whereas for Wolves, they haven't really um performing really well, and they don't really score enough goals. They really, really don't. So, unfortunately for Wolves, I'm, I'm gonna say it's gonna be a 2-0 Brentford win because going to the Community Stadium ain't that easy. It really ain't. And the goal scorers, I think it will be maybe Ivan Toney to score two goals in that game, and yeah, that's basically it. So for Wolves, they haven't been scoring much, and they haven't been really winning that much game. So unfortunately for Wolves, I'm going to go for Brentford win of 2-0. I think they'll bounce back. Brentford from that 4-0 loss against Aston Villa, especially conceding 3 goals in like 15 minutes into that game. So I think Brentford will bounce back, especially they're playing at the community stadium, their home ground. So yeah, 2-0 to Brentford is going to be my prediction in that one. So for Wolves, they need to win, but I don't see that happening, unfortunately, as a Chelsea fan. I really don't. Right, moving on into Brighton against Chelsea. Now, this game is called the Graham Potter Derby. Sorry about that. So yeah, as I was saying, the reason why it's called the Graham Potter Derby is because Graham Potter is going to be back against his older club, Brighton and Hove Albion. Now the big question is, when he comes out, will the Brighton fans give him an applause, or will they boo him for allowing to go to Chelsea and why they're not staying for Brighton? So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. But we wait and see. We shall wait and see tomorrow what happens. I hope the Brighton fans will give him reception rather than booing him. You know what I mean? Because booing your older, club is not good. So I really hope that fans will give them an applause, and maybe the players as well. So yeah, so Graham Potter will return to Amex um, for the first time since Thomas Tuchel got sacked. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. So the question is, could Graham Potter get a win against his older club? Find out for the next video where I'm going to be doing the match preview to that game. So yeah, so but talking about this one, I'm going to go for this is going to be tough because Chelsea's performance over the last 3 games haven't been that great. Even though he's still unbeaten, we still have a really good performances, for the last 3 games. But I think we'll get to win. Hopefully, this time we'll keep a clean sheet, like we should have done against Salzburg. So, and maybe the likes of United as well. So, for this game, I'm going to go for 2-0. And the interesting thing is that Chelsea are the only big six team here not to lose against Brighton because Brighton beat Man United, they beat Arsenal, they beat Tottenham, they beat Liverpool, and they beat City. But Chelsea are the only team here to still go unbeaten against Brighton. Of course, the last 2 games, both home and away, was a draw 1-1. So let's hope that Chelsea can turn a draw into a win against Brighton at the Amex. It's going to be a difficult place to go, but let's hope we can get the win. So 2-0 to Chelsea is going to be my prediction on that game tomorrow. I'm confident, but it's going to be a nervous and a really tough game for the Blues. But let's go out there, get a positive result, get the 3 points, keep it clean sheet, and then we move on into the next game. So yeah, 2-0 to Chelsea is going to be that my prediction. Right, Crystal Palace up against Southampton. Of course, Southampton got a good result against Arsenal, a 1-1 draw, and I think they should have won it if they took their chances, especially in the last 15 minutes of the game. But a draw is a really good result for Southampton. For Palace, they got absolutely destroyed by Everton, 3-0. Like, Crystal Palace away from ain't been that great this season. It hasn't been that great. So yeah, maybe when Crystal Palace go away from home, maybe I won't predict a win for Crystal Palace. So yeah, away from home. But yeah, this game it's going to be another 2-1 to Crystal Palace. Sorry about that, but yeah, it's going to be another 2-1 to Crystal Palace. Because usually, um, the opposition will score first, and then Crystal Palace will find a way to score goals, the likes of Usain Edward, Wilfred Zaha, Eze, and all that stuff. So I'm gonna go for a 2-1 Crystal Palace win again away from home. I think they do good at home, but away from home they play poor. They really do play poor. So yeah, it's gonna be 2-1. I think Southampton will score first, but then in the second half, I think Crystal Palace will be up for it, get back into the game, and then just make a little bit of a comeback to make it 2-1. So yeah, they did that against Wolves, and I think they'll do the same thing against Southampton. So 2-1 to Crystal Palace is going to be my prediction. And like I told you guys, there's a lot of Saturday's games to go over through, and only 2 on Sunday. So right, the next game is Newcastle United up against Aston Villa. And so Aston Villa, their new manager bounced. I forgot who his name was. That 4-0 win against Brentford. at Villa Park. Newcastle United are into the top four for now since they beat Tottenham 2-1 away from home. Now, this one is going to be interesting. I expect this to be tough for both teams, but more Aston Villa especially because Newcastle have got some really good players, the likes of Callum Wilson, Almiron, 5 goals in 5 games. Kieran Trippier. They've got a really, really good squad. And if Newcastle finish in the top four, that'll be absolutely amazing because nobody, not even me, that thought that Newcastle, yeah, will finish in the top four. We all predicted that maybe Newcastle will finish in the European places, maybe like the Conference League or the Europa League. But for them to finish in the top four will be absolutely incredible. But I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they'll do that. So I think they might finish maybe the Europa League or the Conference League, but the top four, I don't think they'll do that. So I'm not saying that it could, that it won't happen, but I just don't see it happening as a Chelsea fan. I really don't. So yeah, it's going to be really tough, especially for Aston Villa because Newcastle have do still have a good record against again at St James's Park. I can't remember the last time that one team beat them this season. I really can't. So yeah, we have to wait and see. So for this game, I'm gonna go for a tight win. I'm just gonna go for a 2-1 Newcastle United win. I think here that Aston Villa will dominate possession, but I think that Newcastle will just find a way to score goals. And I think the goal scorers, I think Amber one will score again, maybe once or twice. I think he maybe only scored once, and maybe Callum Wilson will score. So yeah, those are the goal scorers for Newcastle. For Aston Villa, it might be Danny Ings who scores the only goal for Aston Villa. So it's going to be a tight one, 2-1 to Newcastle United. But if Aston Villa do get the win, then maybe, just maybe, Aston Villa will slightly gain to a really good form. But we're gonna have to wait and see. We're gonna have to wait and see. But I'm just gonna go for Newcastle United win. Although I really hope that Aston Villa get a win so that they won't go above Chelsea and into the top four. So let's hope Aston Villa will do us a favour. But I just don't see that happening. I really don't. So 2-1 to Newcastle is going to be my prediction. So the next one, Fulham against Everton, Saturday night football, 5:30 p.m. kickoff at Craven Cottage. Of course, Everton got that really, really good win against Crystal Palace at home, whereas for Fulham, they got a decent result against Leeds United away from home. So yeah, Fulham, the last 2 games wins. Win against Aston Villa and win against Leeds United. So Fulham getting back to winning ways. So listen, it's going to be a really tough game, but Fulham um, are doing well this season. They really are doing well. So yeah, there's much to talk about. Of course, Everton want to win their next game so that they will they will make sure that they will stay safe for this season. So yeah, but I just don't see that happening for Everton. It's going to be difficult for them because Mitrovic is going good goals. They got that midfielder which I can't remember his name. He was doing really good. So yeah, this game on Saturday night football, I'm gonna go for a 3-1 Fulham win because I think Everton will score maybe the likes of maybe Anthony Gordon, but I think for Fulham they'll be all over Everton, and I think Mitrovic will score again, and yeah, that's basically it. And maybe Willian will do it as well, but we're gonna have to wait and see who are the goal scorers in that game. So if we want to, Fulham's going to be my prediction on that one. It's going to be very interesting to see if Everton can get another win, especially when Fulham play really well away from home. Of course, their first loss at Craven Cottage was against Newcastle United when they've lost to them 4-1, and that was their worst performance. But they got that win against Aston Villa at home. Let's see if they can do it against Everton at home. So 3-1 to Fulham is going to be my prediction on that one. All right, the last Saturday night football in the Premier League is Liverpool against Leeds United, and this is the first time here that this game is a 7:45 p.m. UK time kickoff because it's never happened before ever. So yeah, Leeds United are in serious trouble right now because if you look at the table, they're in 18th place. 18th place. So the only way for them to be out of the relegation zone is for them to hopefully win against Liverpool at Anfield, which I don't see that happening, and Leicester City to lose against Manchester City, which I do see that happening. So Leeds United need to get a good result, a really good and positive result against Liverpool. But would they do it? No, because Liverpool are still unbeaten at Anfield. They're still unbeaten, so it's going to be difficult for Jesse Marsch and for Leeds United. So unfortunately for Leeds United, it's going to be a 3-0 loss to them. I think Liverpool, that win against Ajax, was really good because they've lost against Nottingham Forest shockingly, but they got that win against Ajax and they are through to the round of knockout stages of the Champions League. So really good for Liverpool and for Jurgen Klopp. So yeah, so it's going to be difficult for Leeds United, but Liverpool simply have to get that win if they want to be in the top four, if they want to finish in the top four this season. So yeah, Liverpool need to get back to winning ways because if you win against Ajax but lose against Leeds United, boy, there's going to be some serious questions for Liverpool, for Jurgen Klopp and FFG. So they need to get that winning streak back in form, and I think they'll do that against Leeds United tomorrow night. So yeah, 3-0 to Liverpool is going to be my prediction on that one. Then moving on into two Sundays games, starting off with Arsenal against Nottingham Forest. Now, interesting enough is that Arsenal have a good work. I mean, Nottingham Forest have a good record against Arsenal, especially in the FA Cup, because in 2018 they beat them 4-2, and last season they beat them 1-0. But when these two faced each other in the Carabao Cup, I think it was 2 years ago. No, sorry, 3 years ago, they beat them 5-1 in the Carabao Cup. So yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But Arsenal, if over the last couple of games, haven't been looking that great. They haven't. And I'll tell you guys why in just a minute. Because Arsenal, if you look at the recent form so far, yesterday they've lost against PSV 2-0. They got a draw against Southampton, sorry. They've only put one past PSV, then they put one past Leeds United, then they put one past Bodo Glimt away from home. So Arsenal over the last 5 games, they haven't been scoring that much goals, like they always do. So are we starting to see a blip again for Arsenal, like a bit of decline? For me, maybe, but the only way I can see like Arsenal a bit of a decline if they lose against Nottingham Forest, which I don't think they do. So I think Arsenal will bounce back. And listen, even though Nottingham Forest beat Liverpool, I don't think they'll beat Arsenal because, like I said, the reason why they beat Liverpool is because Liverpool are struggling this season. Whereas for Arsenal, yes, over the last couple of games they haven't been scoring and they drop points. But for me, I think Arsenal will get back to form. They've only lost 2 games so far this season in all competitions. One in the Premier League and one in the Europa League, which was yesterday. So I think Arsenal will bounce back. I think they'll do. So for this game. Do, 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 do. Hmm. They haven't been scoring that much goals. But I think they'll do it. I think they'll get that win. So for this game, it's difficult. Really difficult. I wanted to say 3-0, but I don't think they'll do that. Like I said, they haven't been scoring that much goals. So I'm going to go for 2-0 Arsenal win. I think here they'll keep a clean sheet. The goal scorers, I think Granit Xhaka will score again because unbelievably, he is getting back to his best, from zero to hero. And the other goal scorer, maybe could be Saka. Maybe. I'm not sure. I could be wrong, but those are the goal scorers for me for Arsenal, Granit Xhaka and Bukayo Saka. So yeah, Arsenal will bounce back. get the 3 points and get that win. But if Arsenal lose or if they draw or lose against Nottingham Forest, then there's going to be some serious questions. But I think they'll bounce back 2-0 to them. It's going to be my prediction. Then moving on into the last game of game week 14, Manchester United against West Ham. And interesting enough, this is also the first time, that game, instead of being a 4:30 p.m. kickoff, it's actually a 4:15, quarter past 4 in the afternoon. And the reason why that is because this Sunday, which is the last Sunday of October, the clocks go backward rather than forward. So I understand why that game had to be changed. And I think that Arsenal game, oh, oh, really? Okay, yeah, 2 o'clock. So yeah, that game is at 2 o'clock, and that Man United against West Ham is at 4:15. So that's why the clocks have to go backward one time. So if you live anywhere in the world, make sure you put your clocks back when it's 2 a.m. Make sure you put your clocks back to 1 a.m. Or maybe tomorrow before you sleep, make sure you put all your clocks backwards so that you won't forget what time it is. And that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. I'm going to make sure tomorrow before I sleep, I'm going to make sure I put my clocks backward one time before I sleep. So that's a really good plan for you guys if you want to make sure that you don't miss a game at all. So yeah, so anyway, getting back to this game, Man United against West Ham. Of course, both teams won the European game. West Ham against I forgot who that team was, and Man United beat Sheriff 3-0, and Ronaldo scored in that game, making it 701 goals in career. So yeah, that's basically it. So I expect this to be a really tough game for both teams, but maybe West Ham too, because Man United the last time games have been unbeaten and are playing really good football. Especially when they face Chelsea, they deserve a point because in the first half they were all over Chelsea. In the second half, Chelsea were the better side. So maybe a draw was a decent result. So yeah, Man United remain unbeaten. They're still pushing for the top four. If but for me, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm 50-50, but we have to wait and see until the season ends. So um, dude, this one is tough. It's really going to be tough. So. For Man United against West Ham, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Man United win. Of course, I think the last time West Ham beat Man United was 2-0, which was 2 years ago. So, yeah, which is a pretty long time to be honest with you. So, yeah, it's going to be 2-1 to Man United. I think Skamaka will score for West Ham. And for Man United, I think it might be Rashford and Ronaldo to score. So those are going to be the goal scorers between United and West Ham United in that game. So yeah, so 2-1 to Man United is going to be my prediction. All right, guys, that is it for my predictions. Let me go through them one more time just to make sure you guys don't miss any of them. So the first one, I've gone for the Man City win 3-0 against Leicester City for tomorrow at Saturday lunchtime. The next one, I've gone for a 2-0 Tottenham win against Bournemouth. The next one, I've gone for a Brentford win of 2-0 against Wolves. Then the next Saturday game, I've gone for a 2-0 Chelsea win against Brighton. Then the next one, I've gone for 2-1 Crystal Palace win against Southampton. Then the next one, I've gone for Newcastle United win against Aston Villa 2-1. Then the Saturday night football, 5:30 p.m. Fulham against Everton, I've gone for Fulham win of 3-1. Then the other Saturday night game, I've gone for 3-0 Liverpool win against Leeds United. Then the two Sunday games, the first one also against Forest, I've gone for a Gunners win of 2-0. Then I've gone for the final game of game week 14, I've gone for a Red Devils 2, Hammers 1. So those are all my Premier predictions for game week 14. So let me know in the comments down below, would you agree or disagree of my predictions? And what's your predictions? Let me know in the comments down below. Would you go for a shock win of the likes of Brighton win, the Bournemouth win, and something like that? Let me know in the comments down below. So that's it, guys. So that is my Premier predictions for Game Week 14. Make sure you tune into the next video where I'm going to be doing the match preview of the Graham Potter derby between Chelsea and Brighton. So make sure you check out for that one. There'll also be a live watch along tomorrow and the match reaction coming up. So make sure you guys don't miss that one. So that is it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget, if you're new, hit the subscribe button below, smash the like if you enjoyed this video, and all of the other series I've done so far. Make sure you hit the bell notification so you never miss any of my content, and make sure you click the share button so that everyone could comment and give their predictions in the comments down below. So make sure you guys do that. So thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next video. Take care and peace.